What is up, survivors? This is Harv with Harv's Corner. For today's taming video, we're going to be going over the rock elemental and or rock golem. To start this off, this is a bit of a tricky tame, and there are a couple of different variants of the rock golem, and we'll talk about them, but the method's still going to be the same as far as taming goes, and their abilities are pretty much going to be the same too. So what I got behind me is a normal rock golem that we're used to seeing on Scorched Earth, on Ragnarok as well. Anything with the desert biome. That's where this guy debuted at. That's where he showed up when Scorched Earth was released. And next to it we have the latest rock golem, and this is actually the X elemental out of the volcano biome of the Genesis map. So there's also a couple different variants. You'll find what they call chalk golems that are on Valguero. They're a bit more, the stone's a bit more white and pale to resemble the chalk cliff biome in Valguero. You can also see ice golems in the frozen area of Valguero as well. So there's a couple different versions. There's a couple different minion versions for that show up during boss fights, and there's even a smaller size guy called a rock golem rubble golem that will spawn in some of the caves down in Scorched Earth. These guys are really big. They're kind of slow, but we're going to talk about how to tame these guys. Diet, abilities, the whole 9 yards. So to start it off, they're cool little abilities, and let's hop on this guy and I'll show you around. They don't really move terribly fast. They're not horrible with stamina, but I mean, when they sprint, they're horrible on stamina. You can walk for days with these guys, but when you start sprinting, that's when it starts hurting. You have your primary attack, which is kind of this smash attack here. You have a secondary attack that actually picks up a rock and throws it, which is pretty cool. So now you got like a homemade, walking catapult. Your third attack does like a spin AoE attack as well. So, and that's pretty much what your basic attacks are. This guy will harvest basic resources for you: stone, wood, thatch, stuff like that. He's not actually going to harvest anything like metal for you, which is kind of a bummer. To start off with some of his abilities, I mean, obviously the abilities that we just talked about. The other cool thing is, so wild rock golems have a crazy damage resistance to normal attacks, which is why taming them is a bit different than usual. But even tamed rock golems have a natural physical defense against attacks, so you get a damage buff against that. Combine it with a really good saddle, and you got yourself a very tanky individual that's going to be very hard to kill. Their diet. So when taming these guys, we can use the kibble method like usual, or you can use sulfur to actually tame them. You can even use stone, but it'll take a really long time. Once they're tamed, I would say feed them stone. It's just easy to get. They can even harvest it just to make your life easier. But they will require stone to eat. They don't eat meat or anything like that. And you can actually disguise these guys as rocks once you tame them. You can make them disguise back as a rock again. And boop. There he is, nice and hidden, which is good for two things. One, definitely more of an ambush tactic if your opponents aren't very keen on the exact shape of the rock golem. The second is that it's just a space saver, right? So, I mean, obviously cryopods are the best way to space save, but if you don't have access to them, or if you're running a server that's maybe not running tech stuff, maybe you've got more of a primitive server, you can always shrink these guys down. It makes it a little bit easier. Reveal from rock like normal. They do not swim. If they go in the ocean, they sink to the bottom. So if you're going into the water, you want to make sure that you're on something with a slope like down here, where you could easily come up and out of the water. They don't swim. They literally walk on the bottom of the water. They do not have an oxygen stat, so you don't need to worry about that. So these are level 1. So let's go ahead and check their stats. So at level 1, you have 3,000 health, 300 stamina. I mean, food's kind of, I don't know, not really important. 660 weight, and the melee damage is at a 148. So its health is pretty good already, plus the damage reduction makes it pretty good. And also, the weight isn't crazy good, but it does level pretty well. Stamina, these guys are stamina hogs. Once you get to, like, if you're starting to sprint and use a lot of the special attacks, they'll go after stamina pretty well. Just walking around harvesting, you're probably not going to run into too much trouble. So yeah, let's talk about how to tame these guys. This is going to be interesting. So we're off the coast of the Ragnarok map of the desert. So we're going to go in the desert biome and see if we can't find us a wild one and tame it for you guys. All right, so we have a rock golem down that way a little bit. and it's actually just down that hill. So I was able to get back here outside of aggro and kind of set everything up. So there's plenty of different ways to trap a rock golem, but we need to trap it. So what I did is I basically made a U shape of 5 high metal pillars. It'll break anything but metal, so we had to kind of go with metal. Back here I have a pillar platform made with some goodies on top of it. So to tame a rock golem, we actually have to knock it out with a cannon. It's one of the few animals that you do actually have to knock out with a cannon in order to tame it. We have to hit headshots on it, and the rock golem's head sits a little bit lower, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. So I want to make sure I'm good and elevated. This can get tricky and even frustrating, so if you're just trying this for the first time, don't be surprised if you accidentally kill the rock golem ahead of time. What I would suggest is don't go after the one you want to tame the very first time, just in case you mess it up. Try something maybe a little bit lower level, and that way you're not wasting too many cannonballs either. So the trick is to hit it in the head. The problem is if you hit it anywhere else, you're going to do a considerable amount of damage to these things, so you can easily kill them with direct hits with a cannon and not knock it out. Significantly less damage when we hit it in the head. So anywho, I'm going to get down there, make this thing really mad, and basically try to get it inside here. Now normally you want 2 people to do this. Soloing this isn't necessarily easy per se. I guess if you had to do it solo, what you could do is box this back in and then put ramps in it and get it to follow you. And you know what? I mean, we can do that. We can do that. We'll spawn some stuff in real quick, and we'll do it both ways. We'll do it this way too. So the rock golem can step over anything 2 high and even 3 high. I've seen it like glitch in and out of. So at the very least, I try to make things 4. But we're gonna see how this plays out. I'm thinking I can get him to just chase me right into here, and then he'll drop down. But we shall see. Just for solo purposes, obviously, if you had 2 people here, this would be a lot easier. But for solo purposes, I'm gonna try to get this guy to chase me up these ramps, down into here, and then get stuck in here. We're hoping he gets stuck in here and can't move. And then we just aim fire for the cannon, and we take him out. So he's right down there. If you can see him, let me see if I can. That's him right there. So rock golems, when they're disguised as rocks, all look the same depending on what map you're playing on. And what I mean by is all rock golems that I find on this map are going to be colored like that. On other maps, they could be a different color, but the dead giveaway is that they all camouflage the same. So if you stumble on one or find one, the rest of them all camouflage to that same type, that same section of rock. And if you do look at it, it does look a little bit, it stands out a little bit if you're paying close attention. It does stand out a little bit. So anyway, we're going to go get this guy mad and run inside of here and see what happens. If you're looking for a surefire way to tick this guy off and stay kind of far away from it, you can always shoot it. Firearms are not going to do very much damage to this guy, but it will be enough to get him to come out of his rock formation. And there he goes. So he's probably going to chuck a rock at me any moment now, because that's what they'll normally do. Every 15 seconds, 20 seconds-ish, he'll start to throw. Oh, no, he's changing his mind. Where are you going? Come back here. Come back here. What are you doing? Don't you run away from me. Come on, dude. Focus. Oh, here he goes. Oh, is he stuck down here? There's no way he's stuck down here. Wow. We might have inadvertently done this. Not sure. There we go. Now he's mad. Oh god, now he's mad. You don't want to get hit with those. They hurt a lot. Come on, Rocky. Come on, man. Come on. Is it stuck down here? What are you doing? Oh shit. Ooh. Come on, buddy. Come on. I need you to be friends. I think it might actually be stuck on this ramp. It might actually be stuck on this ramp. New plan. We're gonna we're going to try to use the landscape to our advantage and potentially knock it out here. So I'm going to construct something here. And yeah. Anyway, let's do it. I'll be right back. Alright, so we set something just just outside of his aggro range to kind of see if we can use this land to its advantage. Now normally I probably would have brought that up, but because of where we found it, I thought for sure he could walk up this hill. I guess not. But yeah, obviously if you find one, you want to figure out the land to your advantage. I picked that trap up there just because there really wasn't anything else mean around me to mess with me while I'm trying to focus on this guy. But yeah, by all means, use Mother Nature to the advantage out here. Let's pull his aggro again. See what he does. Alright, so he's throwing rocks. He's mad. Very mad. We need to aim down a bit more. We need to pop him right in the head. Oh no, that's definitely not going to do it. Oh wow, he's super mad. Alright, so let's put another cannonball in here. Let's aim this a little bit to the left and fire. That's the animation I want to see, where he grabs his head and shakes it around. That tells you that it's a headshot. That right there. So again, you want to be careful because it's only going to take so much damage before we kill it. I didn't check the level on this guy. And there he goes. He's out cold. So it took 4 cannonballs. So he's probably a decent level. But it took 4 cannonballs on this guy. So that was pretty good. And you can see the torpidity is maxed out. And basically what we want to do is get some sulfur, put it in its inventory, and then tame it up. And there they go. Not too shabby. So let's throw something on him real quick. And, you know, oddly enough, now that he's tamed, he can get up the hill. I don't know what happened there, but again, I'll take it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You really just want to make sure it really helps out having the cannon up high. So if we drop this guy in here, we wanted the cannon almost to be above his head looking down. It's considerably easier to aim the cannon that way and to actually knock him out. If you're up underneath and trying to shoot it, you can run into some problems there. The other problem that I've noticed, and it seems to be inconsistent at best, is trying to get 100% taming effectiveness on these guys can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. The problem is that the cannon does splash damage. So when it hits a target, it does damage to a lot of things around it at the same time. That splash damage over trickles over to the rest of the rock golem as well. So what you end up doing is hitting it with the cannon to knock it out, but then the extra splash damage screws the taming efficiency up. So it seems to be, like I said, it's inconsistent at best when it happens, but don't be surprised if it does. And again, I would wholeheartedly suggest try this out on a golem that is a little bit lower level so you can at least try it out and get a feel for it. But yeah, I mean, either one of these methods work, and there's plenty of other methods. The real thing is that you want to do is you don't necessarily want to use gates. And the reason why I didn't use gates is because it has that top bar on it, which could block your cannonball shot. You want to have as many ways to fire at this guy as you probably can. The other option is usually when they get inside of a pen like this and they get good and mad, they'll sit here and try to attack some of the pillars. So maybe having a second cannon on your person, or having the cannon mounted on a platform saddle of a creature, or something that you could easily move around the cage, because you might have to do that too. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So like I said, this is going to be the same method you're going to use to tame any rock golem. They all tame the same way. So if you're on Valguero, Scorched Earth, Ragnarok, on the new Genesis map, it doesn't matter. The taming is always going to be the same. It's going to be cannonballs to the head. So as far as tanky creatures in this game goes, he's pretty up there. He's really, really, really up there. And that is a cool looking dude, right? He just looks neat. He looks neat. Does look cool. You also notice when you're firing at him with the cannon, now he's healed up now because he tamed, but when you start shooting at him with the cannon, you'll notice if you're getting close to killing him, because the rocks on his skin will start to crack more and more and more and more, and it lets you know that it's closer to killing it. But again, try this on a rock golem that you're not committed on keeping, just in case you kill it and you're not going to be super bummed about it. But anyway, that's the rock golem, guys. The rock elemental, rock golem, whatever you want to call them. It's odd. It's labeled as rock elemental, but then when you make the saddle, it's a rock golem saddle. I'm not entirely certain what happened there, but at any rate, pretty cool creature, pretty fun to use. This is another one that I would highly advise if you're running a PC server that's modded. Kraken's Better Dinos. This guy's pretty awesome in Kraken's Better Dinos. It gets huge weight reductions to a lot of the harvesting and the ability to harvest other things as well, which I really like. He'll be like a mobile mining facility for you. But yeah, the rock elemental. Fun times. Good guy. Don't want to be on the receiving end of the rocks, though. On receiving end of the rocks is all bad. But that's about it, guys. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you liked the video, please feel free to throw a like down there. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can see when the next videos are coming out. Also, feel free to follow me here. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. We Twitch live stream 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Fridays and Saturdays. We do some impromptu streams, so definitely check Twitter and follow us on Twitch, and you can see when we're going to come out of the woodwork and do an impromptu stream. We do those pretty often, too. But as always, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out, and until next time.